So we're going to go ahead and get started. People will join as they see fit, but I want to thank everyone for joining Five Points Art Gallery's session of the virtual artist chats, geared to put artists in contact with collectors and supporters of the space, and also let the collectors get to know the personalities and stories behind the work that's being created that they've seen in the space, and also to keep people abreast of what you're doing, what you're going through during this pandemic time. So as always, I encourage people to share whatever they're comfortable with, artists, including the viewers too. And we encourage this to be as conversational as possible. So feel free to interject with questions or comments for the artist if something probes you or moves you to. Yeah, if you have additional information that you want to provide to the audience, artists, or if the audience also has questions too, they can also type it in the chat. Like if any of the artists have website information or some text content that they want to distribute, go ahead and add it in the chat for the session, and then everyone will be able to view it. And then if there are any additional information you want from the artist or from the collectors, you can feel free to email the gallery too. And then I will provide that information and put you all in contact with each other. But yeah, this is the 8th session. It's entitled One Man's Treasure. Not to have a gender bias, it's just a play on words. One man's treasure is another man's trash, or vice versa is how it goes. And it's off the Chicago artists. A lot of them do found art assemblages as their work, and so that's how I kind of compiled this this session. Not only just to focus on locale, but also the that aesthetic, using found art to create more installation, abstract installation type work. And so there are 4 artists: Kiki Jia Qi Zhen, Erik Salgado, Hutchinson, and Marvin Tate. I'm excited to do this. I've been excited for all the sessions, but I'm excited to do this one because I always wanted the Chicago artists to meet, especially Spencer and Marvin, because they did a joint show together called Discarded, which took place last year?
Yeah.
Last year, in the fall. Was a very good show. And so one is a self-taught artist, one has an art degree, but then they're both doing the similar concept, but in vastly different ways. And I just thought it was a good marriage for a show. And so now you two get to meet each other. Because you didn't
Spencer.
Artists
and Marvin
talks together. And then just because you're in the same city, it will be good to network with each other, keep each other in mind. So we'll start from there. I'll start by how I met all of them, which is all different stories. Erik, I met as we were both invited guests to be in a collector show held by UWM in their Union Art Gallery last year, or was it last year?
Yeah, that was early last year.
Early last year. And so Erik's family and himself are collectors. And I was showing my collection of dolls that I've purchased over my short collection period. And visited the gallery from there, and then we kind of hit it off. And he also told me, like I am, he's a visual artist, and he collects bricks and also does did I say that, tagging, but also
illegal graffiti.
Illegal graffiti. And more, because he also paints and does graphics too.
Yeah.
I'll let you get started. How are you doing? What have you been up to? I'll actually show. Oof.
Oh, it's a heavy one.
It is heavy.
Yeah.
So these are some of the brick installations. So he collects bricks from different sites. He also, when he came to the gallery the first time, I was still under construction in the area, so I had some bricks in the building I'm in. It's a historical building, so I gave him some bricks to beautify for me. That was one of our exchanges. He gave me one back. But these are some of the pieces that are in the gift shop already. And then last year, during the This Is America show, Erik made this awesome, almost like a fire pit of bricks with the American flag painted on it, and people could purchase individual bricks. That he
I
was
remember that. Yeah.
hoping one day people would come back and put the bricks together with the individual ones that they collected. Oh, I have one. These are heavy.
Oh, sweet.
So that's
Sweet.
3 of them. One.
Yeah.
So that's some of Erik's works. It's not the extent of it. And then for all of the artists featured, they all have like a range of talents too. And so Erik, I'll let you get started, and then I'll bring in Lupe and everyone else.
Cool. Yeah, so since last doing the This Is America show and working on the American brick sculpture, I've slowly been enjoying the outdoor and painting outdoor murals, or sometimes illegal graffiti when the time is right and the magic's in the air, and the night is right. Then I might just go out and do something. But it was something that I started doing as a teenager. So now, as I do it, if I go out for one night, I'm usually feeling it for like 2-3 days. So it's not the same. It's not the same motivation to go out and do it, but I do have the same motivation to go out and find bricks and different objects, which I've been doing throughout the year. Finding smaller bricks and then assembling them later. I was lucky enough to find a building that we had painted graffiti on, maybe in like November of last year, of 2017. They knocked down the building, and I was able to go into the site where they knocked down the building and collect as many of the bricks from the graffiti piece that we made and lug them back home. So it's been a lot of like not so much looking for things, but just waiting for those moments when the objects present themselves, and grabbing them instead of going home and thinking, oh, I should have grabbed that brick. I should have grabbed that pot, those 2 bricks on the floor.
You
And
have
then just
a 30 van because you drove up how many? It was like 200 and some bricks for that exhibition.
yeah.
From Chicago to Milwaukee.
Yeah, 250 bricks across state lines in my dad's truck, which sounds more incriminating than what it actually was, because they were all for the piece. But lately, I've been working on trying to find new ways to transform these bricks, because they've been like they appear in my drawings a lot. So I was asked to do an installation at Columbia College for a show that we were to have in March, but it got postponed due to the COVID pandemic. So I'm not sure when we're going to go back to installing. But one of my centerpieces for that show, very similar to the one I did at 5 Points, is a pile of bricks. Except this time, instead of using bricks, I got the school to get me a giant Jenga box. Like a Jenga playset. They're like larger brick, larger wood shapes, and I'm going to spray paint them similarly to how I would my outdoor bricks, and then set them up in the student lounge, so the students in between classes can like mess around and interact with the piece. So, yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Erik, I have a question for you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, Marvin talking, man. How you doing?
How's it going, bro?
What? Yeah, good. What motivated you to, how did you get from this to bricks? Well, was it through the graffiti somehow that you
Yeah.
started to utilize bricks?
Yeah, I started there was a moment where I stopped painting graffiti to try to take school a little bit more serious and have a little bit less like a more normal sleeping schedule. And I would ask myself, what is it that I'm looking for when I'm going out at night? And a lot of the time it's I'm looking for a new spot to paint something that's never been painted before. And more often than not in Chicago, they're brick buildings or they're brick buildings behind the trains. So I'm looking for a brand new brick, a brand new surface to paint. So instead of me going out at night to finding the spots and the bricks, I decided to kind of work backwards and find the bricks that appeal to me and then bring them back to the studio, paint them, and then present them afterwards. So it's taking elements from graffiti for sure, like the way that it's inspired.
Are there particular kind of bricks?
It's red bricks, but sometimes I find like some of the white bricks that call my attention. If they're still adhered together by a piece of cement, then usually I tend to lean towards those because I'm really into the form that it kind of took on its own when it got knocked down, when the building got knocked down.
Eric, you
Cool,
also,
man.
you at least you used to like to travel and tag. You still doing that? I mean, you can't travel.
Yeah, I just canceled my trip to LA for May. I was gonna go out there for what we call a spraycation, and just go out and find areas to tag on to do graffiti on, like just to do some big, large scale in your face graffiti. Nothing pretty, just like straightforward, traditional, like 2-color graffiti. Because every once in a while, I feel like I still need that that rush of not conforming to society or something. I don't know.
Do you think that'll take you in your 30s, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that'll like keep going until you wait like in your 50s, man? I mean, can you see that? Because you said earlier that you kind of like, it's not, you're not as instinctive as you used to be. But I wonder like how go ahead.
I would in a perfect world, I would definitely continue doing it illegally, because I think part of the art form is that aspect about it, the illegality of it. But going on into my 50s and 40s, I would like to say I try to get I try to stick around other graffiti writers that are older than me, maybe like a good 10 years older than me. So a lot of them are in transition from like doing it illegally on a regular basis to finding more murals and other areas to paint where they get to really kind of take their time and play around with the color and the form and the letter structure. So I see myself kind of gearing towards like that avenue, because those are the other graffiti writers that I associate with are more into the piecing style of graffiti as opposed to the chaotic vandalism or whatever.
Is there a story behind your tag? I've traveled quite a few places and been on a couple of graffiti art tours, more global than here. And it is for more of an underground culture. It's not necessarily a fine artist doing it, but there were usually stories, political stories or what have you. behind their tag? Do you have one, or is it more artistic expression, or both?
I'm definitely in it for the stories. I think part of these moments that we tend to make, we create these moments that can't, we leave art behind, but a lot of the stuff gets is ephemeral, like the climbing of the buildings, or let's say I'm climbing a building and it's got barbed wire fence and it grabs onto my pants leg and then I rip my pants on the way down. Like those are things that those are moments that aren't in the art itself, but I think that they're super important moments. For my graffiti name, I got it from my like, I had an older brother who had a Suzuki car, and I just messed around with the letters, and I started writing IZU, like IZU, and then I started adding an E at the end of it, like a silent E at the end of it, to just have more things to play around with, more letters to be able to play with, mess around with, exaggerate, and create more style. But yeah, it was never like a nickname that was given to me. It was more something that I just said, this is what I choose, and I'm gonna play this game and see how far I can take this this nickname or whatever. But there, yeah, the stories come with it. I've fallen through rooftops before, and had to have my friends like pull me out of the hole in the roof, with like half of my body dangling inside. But yeah, things like that, having to run from cops. I know the last like big scare I had was maybe last summer, doing some what we call like hollows, which are just like real quick bubble letters. It's nothing pretty about it. It's just big bubble letters. It takes your whole body to create the form. But we just did it a little bit too early at night, and got chased by somebody in the neighborhood. And from that day, I realized that I don't have I don't have it in me anymore to go for like 4 blocks at a time. Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, the idea is to be a ninja and to not be seen. So it you know, that always keeps me motivated and keeps me wanting to continue doing it. Just one of those things yeah, one of those things I always relate real closely with, like people who are adrenaline junkies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like someone who's an adrenaline junkie but also really into coloring. Yeah.
Do you want to show us an example of some of the legal work you've been doing, the legal mural style work that you've been doing that you kind of showed earlier?
Yeah. So I've been, let's see, last summer I got to paint the back of these doors on the back of a Hilton hotel in downtown Chicago, off of Balboa and Wabash.
Okay.
So a lot of those were like these, they're faces, but the faces are inspired by like Mesoamerican sculptures and some graffiti style. So I don't know if we can see.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah, so this is one of the images that I've been making, but I've got another. I've kind of been taking this this stay-at-home order to look through my flat file and find older work that needs a little bit of just like retouching.
Are those Aztec inspired?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of them come from like looking at sculptures and Aztec architecture, trying to take from the architecture, and then the use of concrete kind of resonates with me, I think, because of the love that I have for bricks. So it's one of those connections that I made between the work that I made outside of my my 2D drawing painting work, And within my work, I see that the bricks always like find their way back into my work. I seem to not be able to escape them.
I want to pull in another artist who, all of them are actually storytellers, but who interweaves storytelling and has an international story as well, and pulls on her Chinese lineage into her work, and that's Kiki Jia, who's probably the youngest of all of the artists on the call, but is doing dynamic work. And she actually was featured in the gallery, Five Points Art Gallery, prior to the current exhibitions in a solo show called Recalling Apropos, which means recalling my maternal grandmother. So Kiki, how are you doing?
Slightly nervous, even though it's like a video call, but been doing good. I've been making quite a lot of work. It's like, I don't know if it's actual work or just pushing. Sorry, it's echoing. Kind of just pushing whatever idea I have in my head, especially since it's like stay at home. Like I've been spending more, or like just soaking up all this home studio time as much as possible and just doing a lot of sewing work. I kind of pause on making super big sculptural work by hand because I have no storage space at home. So this work right here, it's about 3 feet by 3. So each of these squares are air dried clay. So I'm referencing back to the Chinese character grids that I was forced to learn when I came to America. I came here pretty young, like 5, so it's kind of like a structural thing where as a little kid where I'm already transitioning in of learning English, but then on the side I'm also being forced to go to Chinese school on the weekends. But it's just like, as a 5-year-old, it's kind of hard to be taught so many different things and being forced to do things that I don't want to do. So this is kind of referencing to my kind of guilt and regret, because over the years, my Chinese, like my mother tongue, it's kind of like decreasing. It's getting worse, and my English not that great. It like the accent comes out here and there, but yeah, it's kind of weird being like the first generation immigrant in the family, especially having to kind of being the translator. So a lot of my work kind of goes back flip-flopping in between identities. Like I'm having like some sort of identity crisis in some sort of way, because I'm soaking in so much culture all around me, while even at home I'm trying to kind of not really blocking that off, but kind of translating that back to my parents, because they don't know English, and I'm translating back what I know back to Chinese. So it's kind of like I'm being like a walking dictionary or whatever translator, so sort of thing. Yeah, so a lot of my work is kind of referencing back to memory loss and kind of like immigration issues. Right now, it's kind of weird. I'm in like I don't know. I I I enjoy sewing, going back to sewing. So I've been doing a lot of like outfits, like more so with the mass. I feel like most of my performance, I do alternate myself into like a different identity. Like when I take off my glasses, I cannot see any of you guys, and that just gives me like a like a different ego, like I can do whatever the fuck I want to do, you know, like I don't feel like shy about it when I'm performing. And yeah, right now I've been kind of diving into like mass and like the outfit that comes out from that mass, but then again I'm working sort of backwards because the recent 2 pieces that I did with that, I made the outfit first before I kind of thought of the mask to go with that kind of character playing. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. So far I'm enjoying it, especially with just staying at home and yeah.
Kiki was one of the first people who made me aware of coronavirus. I was for a minute. I didn't even know Chicago had it since November because I didn't know. She was telling me she was having difficulties catching Ubers.
Yeah.
Exhibition to even get around Chicago, let her know she was gonna come to the gallery to retrieve any unsold work, and I ended up bringing it to Chicago for her. And I didn't know there was the pandemic going on. I had to also pick up some work I had from the exhibition too, and I didn't know. I was told I was going into the belly of the beast, but she she made me aware of. I still didn't grasp what was going on, even when she was telling me. And so I'm wondering how when you're talking about navigating different cultures, how is it now when you have to, not have to, but try to assimilate to American culture, but having the ignorance, pervasive ignorance, being kicked back at you when you're trying to adapt.
Well, like I'll be honest, like for applying to stuff now and like getting my stuff out there, like the back of me, I feel like, oh shoot, no, this person is an Asian, or like this person's Chinese. No, just cancel, or like just don't even look at that person's body of work because of that. Like I haven't been out for like 2 months, like no lie. I've been at home. I have not taken a small walk around the neighborhood. I'm literally I don't know, I'm just like kind of paranoid since December, honestly. I've been I hear news, I don't know, it's just a weird transition with whatever's going on day by day with like the media, with the Western media, just throwing stuff back and forth.
And Kiki, Marvin, how you doing?
Hi.
Kiki, so during this virus, how have you, through your art, how have you been like, constantly busy? Because I find myself constantly busy every day now. I'm like, wow, I just keep on doing this, until it subsides. Have you been engaging your art? And have you been engaging more in your art, or have you just been sitting and just watching Netflix and just like, hey,
right. I've been more productive during this time. Actually, I've been so far this past 2 weeks. I try to avoid the news as best as possible with whatever like anti-Asian crimes or whatever crimes that's happening. I'm just kind of, it's hard to stomach. It's kind of weird. I've been just making work, trying to stay focused, be productive, and just keep going. Like I'm not gonna stop, especially with maybe like the stay-at-home order might end next month, and I won't enjoy this kind of like home studio that I'm having. I've been a part-time doing whatever like job that I don't like. But that's 3 days a week, and the rest I spend at home. I'm a extreme introvert, so I honestly enjoy the time at home, really. But the family bonding has been kind of tough. you, we live in a tiny apartment, so we see each other, like, step out, you see their face, and just gotta deal with the family stuff, hands on. Can't avoid that.
But it's kind of cool. Though. It's kind of cool that this also brings families together, though. At times, this is for everybody. At times, it feels like too young to remember this, but at times on the streets, it feels like it's 1950s, 1960s America again. People are cooking more dinner, staying home, and dealing with family issues, and so you have certain things you don't hear anymore. You know what I mean? Like the constant, going of traffic, and so it's almost like for me, I feel like it's one more peaceful time now. At this, unfortunately, with this, because of the pandemic, but there's some things that you take away from this, and also the fact that also I'm making more art.
Right. So yeah, like time's kind of going by slower for some people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I met Kiki by happenstance. I hate social media, but I'm on it. And a gallery that I follow, who I've exhibited with in the past, featuring Kiki's work, completely different than this. It was a collage piece, and I actually told her I thought she might have been a Black artist without fully seeing her name. It was a collage piece of it ended up being a Chinese her mother doing like some domestic work. And so I reached out to the gallery messenger to see if the work was available. Stella, can you mute your phone for purchase? And so
Okay, cool.
and it was, and so I drove to Chicago to see the piece, and I still loved it in person. It was great. I also went to Chicago at the same time to look at another person's work, and I didn't love it, but I'm glad this one worked out, and so I purchased the piece. And that's how we connected. And similar to Kiki, I also met Spencer by collecting his work. I was in Chicago. I was actually flying out of Chicago to go to Cuba like 2 years ago. And the night before I flew out, there was an exhibition, a Black Panthers exhibition at, I think it's one of Theater Gates facilities. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, I went with a few friends and I saw his piece. It was blackface of like old white actresses and then some crazy mixed media stuff on the back. But I was just like, oh, I love this. And I didn't get it right away because I was leaving. But as soon as I came back, I kept telling my friend, oh, I love the piece. I love the piece. And she's like, just get it. So I called the facility to see if it was still available. And they put me in direct contact with Spencer, purchased it, picked it up from his home, which is also a workspace too, and then saw just a range of works that he had in his space. And so we just had conversation, and it ended up leading into an exhibition for Spencer at Five Points Art Gallery. And this is one of the large, you can't even see, the bottom is way down there, of the piece, large pieces that another piece I ended up purchasing from Spencer, but it also was featured in the exhibition too. So Spencer, I want to shift it over to you.
All right.
Talk about how you're doing, what you're doing, what's new.
Oh man, I'm doing fine. I'm finishing up my MFA at UIC, and I've been doing that. Here, I'm gonna try and get this. I'm using my phone for this. My laptop is too old to do Zoom or something. Got to update. Anyway, so I'm finishing up my MFA at UIC, and I actually just finished my thesis paper, which has taken a lot of my time. And the only art supplies, I'm in upstate New York right now, with my dad because I couldn't handle, being shelter in place by myself. So I thought of someone I could come and stay with and can stay with him. And there's no art supply store that's open around here for me to go and get the supplies that I need to make the work that I make. So I've just been reading, watching Netflix, and working on school stuff.
Is school all online right now?
Huh?
I mean, you're still doing, it's just all online now? Or do you have to
Yeah.
check with professors, or it's just you type in and doing research?
It's all via Zoom, like this. Yeah,
Okay.
it's all like this. So that's what I've been up to right now.
Any, so no new work?
I have one new piece. I'll show it to you.
How's upstate New York?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's raining today, but the weather's been nice. It's pretty good. It's a lot like Chicago in terms of the weather. Here's the new piece.
Wow. Hey, does it irk you, man? I mean, anybody, but particularly you, Spence, like you don't have like access to art supplies during this slow period of time. I mean, I know you got your thesis, you're working on your paper and all that. That I'm sure that occupies our time and family perhaps too. But that's not, I mean, you can be creative writing your thesis too. But what are you doing? Because you're not doing your thing with your hands, that aspect of your life.
Well, I get on the exercise bike from time to time, and mainly I just watch a lot of movies right now. I'm not making anything. I can't make anything.
Are you okay not making anything? You're like, it is what it is, or do you?
It's okay now. I mean, it's okay right now. It really hasn't been that long if you think about it. But I do have several pieces that I've sketched out that I want to make when I come back to Chicago. So as soon as I come back, I'm going to hit the ground running on that. Yeah.
I forgot to show some of Kiki's other pieces that were featured in her last exhibition.
Yeah.
You want to explain these?
Right. Those are actually my favorite. So those rattles kind of refers back to like the Chinese rattles that we have as a baby. So shoot, I wish I have like the actual drums. I researched that other like culture also have like different drums to give to their little babies too, but ours is usually red for like symbolizes like luck or like love. And it's kind of I think during that critique someone asked me why nipples. Nipples, like I was breastfeed as a kid or as a baby, so I would definitely put like breasts and nipples as like something that's so important for like a little baby, especially like I'm like backtracking to one of my dots right now. The drums usually are just drums, like little drums on a stick, and on both sides they would have like these Chinese baby characters where it should be imprinted on the rattles like that. So that is a little boy. Usually the little boy is more popular in terms of sale, since I guess in Asian culture the boy or the female is more important in terms of child. In my family, I'm the oldest out of 4, so 3 daughters and 1 son. So That is pretty important too, because I have another project coming up that kind of talks about that. In terms of how Chinese people kind of find that daughters are less important. Let's say it's such a weird dynamic of how daughters are being treated differently than the actual son. Maybe it's kind of similar to other cultures too, but in my practice, I kind of navigate my own personal stories and then kind of go forward, if that makes any sense to you guys. But yeah, more diving in more personal trauma issues that I see in, at least in my cultures and family. Yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of throwing thoughts out there.
I just wanted to show the work because I have it sitting here too, and I forgot to show it, and then you could tell about it. And then now I'm gonna transition back to Spencer. I'm not cutting you off. Spencer, you can tell us about your work, and then tell us, I know I have in my planner for you, you had an exhibition opening tomorrow that I'm sure is canceled or postponed.
Yeah.
So you can tell us about that, and then maybe describe your aesthetic and your work.
Well, the MFA thesis show was supposed to be opening, and it is not opening now because of this deadly virus that has swept the nation. So we don't know when that's going to be yet, when we're going to do the show. But my work centers a lot around found objects, even more so than I thought it did before, because I've been doing more pared down, stripped down paintings lately, kind of as a nod to Zen Buddhism in terms of their execution, as being very flat and very, or minimalism, I should say. They're closer to minimalism than anything else I've done before, but inspired by Zen Buddhism, with their sparseness and going from trying to cram things on the canvas to trying to create like an empty space that you can focus on and meditate on. And found objects, I'm still working with that. So yeah, my aesthetic is all over the place. I also try to use sound in my work, create a relationship between painting and sound, which comes out mostly as sound collages that are played as you're looking at the painting. And yeah, I think that's about all I got.
Do you feel, because you work with found objects, I know you transitioned to more minimalism and stripped away pieces. Is it safe to dumpster dive where you are? Is it safer?
There's nothing really to find out here. You know, I'm in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York right now. So it's not like dumpster diving in Chicago would be, you know, where people leave things out, tables and chairs and brooms and cassette tapes and what have you. It's much different where I am here now.
Do you feel inspired where you are? Safe, but
Yeah, I feel inspired. I don't feel any more or less inspired being here than I would in Chicago. I just don't have the opportunity to make work right now.
Okay.
Or to make the kind of work that I want to make, I should say. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then speaking of sound and art, I'm gonna transition to Marvin Tate.
Okay, and I'm gonna actually have to go here pretty soon.
Okay.
But yeah, so.
Do you wanna, do you have a website?
Yeah.
You wanna type it into the chat so people can follow, and then maybe add your Instagram handle? And Marvin was a referral to me from Della. They were both in like an outsider art in Chicago. I think
Yeah, how do I type something in here?
there should be a chat button. Do you see it? If not, I can get that information out.
I don't see a chat button.
I don't know how it looks on a phone.
It looks.
Oh wait, hold on. Oh, here, I think this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvin was a referral from Della. They were both featured artists in the Outsider Art Show, I believe at Intuit in Chicago.
Yeah, Intuit Museum.
Yep, and so Marvin is, thanks Spencer, has a, like everyone else, has a array of talents. He is not only a visual artist, but he's a poet and musician and singer. And so let us know what you've been up to recently. I know you were traveling abroad and were actually in Paris before all of this.
Yeah, I was in Paris, France in general, doing a tour of France with an organization called The Bridge. They specialize in free jazz, experimental type music. So I was doing that. And, you know, I got back just in time when all this started to happen, you know, C-19. So, you know, so take what you want with that. But, you know, I got back just in time, you know, but I don't know how fortunate it is, but, you know, it was good to be home. You know, I could have been stuck out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, you know, it doesn't take much to get me talking. So when you start talking.
All right, start. So I can show some work, some older work, and then you can introduce your newer work and talk about your performance pieces too. So Marvin, along with Spencer, last year did a joint show called Discarded, and I featured a bunch of these different, I call them like floral plumes that Marvin they're actually made out of shoe inserts.
Yes. Wow. Hey, bet you my thing back.
I purchased it for my birthday to myself.
All right. Well, I've been busy, you know, and I make stuff mostly out of found objects. And for me, found objects are like, we go back a long way, you know, and I think what happened was, I think when you grow up poor and you have to use your imagination, you just use things around your environment to play with, to engage yourself in. And so that's what I did. That's my love for found objects. What else? I been doing a lot of new work since this pandemic. A lot of new work. I had a show that was canceled. It would have been April 19th at the Botanic Garden. Man, that was going to be a good show. Where I was going to build a life-size train track that was in my neighborhood when I lived in North Londale in the 60s and early 70s. Yeah. So, you hear me, Fatima?
Yep. I'm just showing you different works while you talk.
Oh, like playing around over there. Yeah. Oh wow, you got that too? Give my stuff back.
This is in the gift shop. These are for sale. These are his homemade snow globes. The Erie version, right?
Yeah. You know, it's wild. That's the first thing I started making when I started art. You know, making one of those snow globes.
And that evolved into like dioramas and things inside boxes, inside dressers, etc. And then it started kind of more assemblages and things inside eyeglass cases. I think, you know, using found objects, it shows to the person looking at it that you're taking everyday things that exist around you, and that you can do it also. I think that was the thing also. Then grew up painting, grew up finding, building stuff, you know, making collages and stuff, you know, because with found objects, it feels like I'm hoping that people who think art is not for them, or they can't do art because they're trapped in this body or in this skin or in this neighborhood, whatever, that you're just taking everyday objects, your surrounding, and repurposing them is very empowering. With that said, I'm going to show you some new works that I've been working on. I don't have any names for these. Some of these are finished. Some of these are just like, oh, I got it up now, you know? So I'm gonna switch this around and give you a little eye what I've been doing there. Y'all see that?
Yep. Can you get a little closer, possibly? There we go.
How's it? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Those are coffee grinds and cutouts. These things here are cutouts, punch outs, and found objects. And I made that like the first week they announced the C19. I'm gonna get up here, give you a tour. This I made last year. Hands from a mannequin and some C-pod type stuff I found outside. And page, it was a really good looking page in the alley I found. It was like burnt. I was like, oh, I got to get that page. So I got that page. Here we go. Some newer work. These are like these wine corks. This guy gave me all these wine corks, you know, and anytime I see something like abundance of, I have to reshape it, repurpose it. So I got all these wine corks. Can you see this? Can you guys see that?
Can you zoom into that so we can see some of the details?
Zoom.
Even like go closer.
Go closer.
Yeah.
You see that? It's like a ship, and this water. It's water. You know, it's a ship. That bird is made out of you know, like stuff you tie your garbage bags with. And I'm gonna move on over here to the left here. This guy also gave me all these bottle top lids. And I know you don't Mr. Imagination, so I'm not trying to be no Mr. Imagination, but I, you know, again, when I see a collective of things, I have to like manipulate them. And so this here, what you're looking at, I don't know if you guys are old enough or cool enough to remember Gil Scott Heron.
Repeat the name.
Gil Scott Heron.
Yeah, I love him. I'm not
right?
technically young.
Gil always had a thing. He always like tilted his neck, you know, his head, his throat went one way, slanted one way, and his neck went the other way. And he always looked elegant, you know. So this is the back head. There was an album, did something that's Coming to America, something like America something. Whereas he strike that pose, and again, he had the coolest afro. And so I tried to make that like Gil Scott Heron. It's called Time in a Bottle. You see the back, see the city lights in there and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's Gil cocking his head, his throat going the other way. All righty. Now this here, this is called Light on the Stairs. It's I had all these it was something delivered to us. And it had all this plastic stuff in it, you know, and I just started tearing the stuff out, and it started looking like staircases, you know, and I, you know, like in an old tenement, you could go run up and down the stairs, like, you know, you never go down, you know, and I was trying to make this like constant, you know, like running, you know, all these stairs, you know, with the sunlight pouring through the window. Can y'all see that?
I think you showed your age by saying tenement.
Oh, you know, I'm gonna say some more stuff gonna be down here. You ain't heard nothing yet. This is what you seen this before. I don't know if you remember that.
I have, but they haven't. So show away.
Okay, well these are punch outs. You know
You can
that I
post it with your phone, and then they can see the punch out. Yeah.
The punch outs, and it was fun making that. Again, I was just, my daughter told me, Dad, you can just go to the store and buy those things. But I didn't want to do that because it took away from the organicness of it. So I would just stay, like turn on the tube, watching PBS, aging myself again.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then I just punch out, do these punch outs, man. You know what I mean? And then and there you go. Some more stuff around here. Here's some more stuff here. This is some stuff that was in your gallery.
Yeah.
This is mannequin, and shoe inserts and like buttons, pearls, and handles from paper bag handles from Mariano's. That's where I go, Mariano's.
Aren't you?
Boom. Huh? This is new here. Can you see me?
No, now we can.
This is one of these little dioramas I've just made recently. Oh, can you see it?
Yeah.
And I made that during the virus. And it comes on at night, so you have your own little scene there. And on the TV it says something like, can you see it on the TV?
You can't see all of it, but you can see the
It says Chicago liquor sales curfew in effect starting Thursday for Corona. Yeah.
Have they shut down the liquor store?
No, we got to 9 p.m. to go there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so we're good.
Versus 24 hours.
24 hours, man! You guys gonna never stop.
No, I thought Chicago had a 24-hour liquor store.
No. We have it's closes at 9.
Oh no, pre-COVID-19.
Yeah. This is another shoe insert here. Y'all see that? All right, I'm gonna go into another room here, another gallery part of my house. This here, something I've been working on. It's metal and cork and other found objects. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
This is another something I think I did it last year.
Do you make in series and with the theme in mind, or you find the objects and you just?
No, I had no theme in mind. I just start doing whatever. Let the music hear the music. It's like jazz when I paint. I feel I'm putting things together. It's like improvisation. Don't really come in with. I might come in with a half idea of what I want, but getting there, it's like, because you're using this material. I don't know what material I'm going to use, so that's the improvisation. I might have a bit of an idea of what I'm going to do, but how I'm going to get there and what I'm going to use getting there is always, an element of surprise. Here's something here, I did this during this pandemic also. I guess I was trying to find some kind of solitude, some kind of quietness, And although I don't like birds that much, particularly pigeons, I'm always got birds in my paintings, you know what I mean? Because I love it because it's so majestical, you know what I mean? The way they fly and they're free. Maybe that's what it is. Free.
Why do you discriminate against pigeons?
Well, who don't? Here's some more stuff here. This is the head of Nina Simone at a concert.
Are those punch outs?
Those are punch outs too.
Okay.
That's something there made of onion skins. This here is made of sponges. Can you all see that?
No, you can get closer with your phone.
This is made of sponges.
Like a house cleaning sponges?
Yeah, they start looking like mountains to me, you know. So I just started, hey, these things are like, you know, like hills, you know. And there's metal in there, and there's another bird. This here is, I think I'm gonna call this Jazz City, because that's what that reminds me of, you know, like France, you know. Can you see that?
Faintly.
Oh, okay. It almost looks like
You can't see all the detail.
oh, you can't see the details? The punch outs. There's punch outs. Those are the houses that look like, you know, towers and stuff, you know, and yeah. The frame. This here's another punch outs. My cousin Ruth, or high school afro.
Has she seen this piece?
No, she hasn't.
Okay.
But that's my cousin Ruth. This is something I'm attempting to do. Here, can you all see that?
Really? Is that metal?
Yeah. Yeah, leaves and some other found objects, you know. Just wanted that kind of like, I don't know, I wanted that kind of chaos. This is something I did recently too. It's like a slave ship.
Can you get closer? Don't be afraid to get close to the art.
All right. Can you see it now?
Yeah, much better. So what is it made of?
Thick clothing pins. Antique clothing pins, you know, they you know, you look like those people in the slave ship, you know what I mean? That's what I saw. Soldiers, you know.
Is that a homage to matriarch?
Yeah.
The black woman being the mammy?
No, you was totally off the boat, girl. This is you know, like in the books, history books, there were always these depictions of slaves in the boat. And that's what this is right here. Look, old frame around that had the ornate frame. It looked like it could be a, you know, boat from 1619. Yeah. And you know, friend gave me these old-fashioned clothing pins, which I remember back in the day, you know, my mother hanging clothes up in the backyard, what they looked like. We would play with clothing pins. We could make guns out of them. We used to make, like, you know, all kind of things out of them. You know what I mean?
We didn't have dryers then.
I'm sorry?
I said we didn't have dryers then. We used clothespins.
There you go.
Another person that age.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, right on. Teacher's girl something. So that's girl don't know. And you got to use your imagination. We had to use our imagination. We didn't have anything to play with. And one time Chris didn't come to us. My brother made us toys out of aluminum foil, you know, and we loved it because that's all we had. So I think that also, answers the question why I choose found material, because I feel it more closer to the soul, and you repurpose it, just like life. You die, and I feel you're repurposed again. Okay, well, speaking of repurposing, here's this. I'm making this casket of wine corks. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Some feet. And so this thing is gonna have all these corks in it. And what I'm gonna do, because I'm done with it yet, I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna burn all the corks and then we'll spray paint and have these like luminous colors. You know what I mean? And this was wild. I found this in my back alley. It's like really huge dresser drawer, you know? So those are wine corks. Let me go in the kitchen. I'll end it here, but I've got some things here I can show you. This here, young lady here is something I've been working on, a mannequin with punch outs and other objects on her. Now this here next to her is, you know, it's called Glow Fro. Can you see that?
Yes.
Glow Fro. Because I remember like in the 70s, I remember seeing like this sister with like a white fro. You know what I mean? And I just thought that was so cool. Then I would see it later on the Undisputed Truth album. This woman had a white fro too. So you don't see too many white fros then, because bad girls wore white fros. You young remember that. Anyway. So that's that. Can you see this here?
Yes.
Yes.
You can get
So
close.
this is a woman going to, you know, like it's definitely like the 40s or something like that. A sister going in Harlem, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she's made a button, you know, buttons. You see that silhouette, and in the background you see like certain city lights on, and she's got this big crazy, you know, Sunday, you know, going to the races kind of hat on. Some other things here. I've been working on this here is an attempt to make this guy. I do a lot of free jazz, and there's this brother on the scene named Greg Ward, who's an amazing player. And I'm trying to make him. I got to get some more seashells, some conch horns, pink color and red, you know, shell type colors to put in there to make this, you know, horn playing shell out of shells and wine corks. And I got the shells here. I got these snail shells from. I don't even like snails, but all my friends in France gave me their snails for dinner. So I was like, well, I'm gonna take this home with me and make it into something. But last but not least, but what I've been working on lately, as of yesterday, I got this carving tool set in the mail, and I've been carving stuff. You know, here's my attempt at carving.
Get closer. Is that a body? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, and that's that, and I'm working on another one, but you might not be able to see this one too good. But it's my friend. It's another friend, my jazz dude friend of mine. His name is Ben Lamar, and he's gonna be blowing this horn. But I'm not done with that yet. So that's it. You know, there's other things, but that's really it. That's what I've been working on. You know, and been, you know, it's been weird, but you know, the world is not going to stop. It's just changing, and we as artists need to keep making. You know what I mean? Keep creating, so we can be ready for the change. You know. So,
Do any of you have any questions, comments, or what have you for any of the artists?
where are you guys located in the city?
That's the Chicago artist.
I'm near Bridgeport and Pilsen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Evanston right now, but my studio's in Hermosa, near Logan Square.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Avondale.
Oh, cool. Not too far.
Yeah.
And Spencer is on the west side. He's off of like Holman near Madison.
Okay.
Oh, really? My God.
One of your old hood.
Yeah, an old hood.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. He has a studio over there?
It's like artist housing. So it's like artist residency, but they have studio spaces in their homes too.
Oh yeah, home in Madison. It used to be this old school.
Or something. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
In there.
Yeah. Check that out. I want to check that out myself. Yeah. So, question for everybody, like, what do you guys hope to be when we come out of this pandemic? Where you hope get you start the ground running, or you're just going to be chill for a little bit, see how things subside? Chicago artists.
Chicago artists.
Chicago in the house.
Probably gonna see how everything goes and just kind of, well, since everything now is on an online platform, hopefully even after, once this gets back to normal, that this online kind of platform still continues, because I mean, that's the new normal now, really, to kind of promote artwork and actually have this kind of online visual shows. Like, there's so many undergrads and like grad students shows that are being canceled, and like every like artists are around, their shows are getting canceled, and I just hope that even after this that continues
The
to
online platform.
Yeah, like maybe the galleries can promote that more onto like an online platform, not just like the physical kind of showing of things.
I wonder.
It might be more inclusive, but again, depending on who has technology and who doesn't.
Yeah.
So art makes art more accessible. On the same hand, I mean, like, if it's not accessible if you don't have the technology to see it,
Right.
Do you feel like
go Fatih.
Do you feel like your art is getting justice online? I just always prefer the in-person experience. Like, I might be intrigued by maybe what I see online, but I want to see it in person to see if it's been altered. And just like when I came to see you and your piece, I'm like, let me see the person. And I still loved it. But at the same time, that same day, I went to go see another piece from another person, and it was like, no go. This is not anything close to what I expected it to be. And then speaking personally, I'm also an artist, and I work with a lot of heavy texture. And I usually photograph my own work, but it's hard to capture some of the nuances, texture, color, the collaging, so the script in the work. Online, you can only get so close. So it's actually not my preference. I think it's a way to still entice, but I'm hoping, I'm not rushing anything, but I'm hoping back to where it's more in person.
Yeah.
I definitely walking off the street to see spaces too, versus trying to get online to things.
Marvin,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm into chairs. That green chair right there, what's the history behind it? That's unusual.
Oh, me?
Right there.
Oh. My wife bought that from a friend who was, getting rid of stuff. No history, not my history anyhow. 2 years of my history, that's about it. But thank you though. Observant. Look around in my house for.
Erik, what are your expectations once this passes?
Oh, I'm excited to get back to looking at art in person and going inside physical art spaces. I do miss like gallery openings and seeing what other people are making and experiencing it in person. I think that's definitely an element of art that we I mean, as much as we all do it for ourselves, part of creating something, I think, is also like being able to put it out into the world physically. But I'm hoping to just, as soon as I'm done with this, go back to finishing the installation at Columbia. They've told me that they're not going to open the school again until the fall. So, so we'll see.
I was asking, will you still be able to do your show? Or will you just
they're expecting us to be able to still have an opening whenever the school decides to open up again. For the public, and we're able to gather in in mass numbers. But until then, just I'm trying to stay sane indoors, but I keep getting the itch to want to go outside and paint. So like last week, me and my partner, she paints graffiti too. We went to go paint some freights. So that was nice. That was like something to get out of to try to like ease myself back into a normal routine.
Hey, there's a good movie about these women who they sing on the train. When I was in France, this guy who plays with Nick Cave, he was at the party with me, and he had sent me this link where he made this movie about women and trains, and the women who get on the trains and they sing on these trains. But I know how I got on that because you're talking about train. You tag the train, so
yeah.
Is it like the Chicago people who sing on the trains?
I'm sorry?
Is the film like the Chicago people that sing on the trains?
No, it's people from all around the world. It's like this underground movement of women who who are like, they're not like hobos. They're more cognizant, politically aware, but they sing and ride on the trains.
Oh wow. Like a nomadic lifestyle.
Yeah, man.
The Columbia thing is a commission.
It's for a class. There's they have a class for students who are going into like museum and gallery management. And they do 4 shows a semester. So one of the shows was the one that they had invited me to participate in. But we'll see. we'll see when that gets back to going.
I was just wondering if you could finish the piece now while the school is closed, so you don't have to worry about extra bodies around you if you're creating it there. And
that's true.
And then they can just exhibit it when they get back to.
That's true. I have to try to see if they can let me, if they're even letting anybody in the buildings, or if the buildings are just shut down. But I did bring home some of the other materials to install to work on in my studio and at home, like the big Jenga blocks. I'm excited to finish those up.
Yeah, man.
Any questions and comments or what have you for the artists?
Kiki, when's your next show?
I don't know. Everything's being canceled or postponed. The show called Slasian, that's part of like with other Asian artists around Chicago. The curators putting that on like an online platform too at the moment until all the galleries starts opening up again. I don't know, the one for Lumen Arts, there's not going to be a final show for that to kind of showcase, and it's kind of hard because going back, it's true, like documenting sculpture work for me is super hard. You can't see the depth of it, and having them to judge my photos off of my sculpture work is just it's kind of weird. It's like there's no justice to that piece at all. It just feels flat. I don't know.
Yeah, you're automatically like flattening a 3-dimensional object and expecting the experience to feel like the same, but it's like it'll never be like that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really changing me. As far as like performing, I was talking to a friend today, Elastic Arts, and he was telling me that, they might just allow like 10 or 15 people in to a show and just raise the price, and because people want to go see live shows still, they just don't want, I mean, but it'll change, that venue, that small, venue will change its way of approaching, keeping live entertainment going. It's gonna be different, man. But everybody got a quarantine story. You guys got quarantine work and stuff?
I personally don't. I've been not having time to. Eric, weren't you doing like a COVID-19 exhibition?
Yeah, actually, I'm glad we were able to tie back into that, because sometimes I forget that that's what I'm doing, but that's what I usually post my own work on my Instagram. But what I did since the stay-at-home order went into place was remove all my images from Instagram, and then I started curating an open call for any artist making work during and or about the COVID-19 crisis. And I was posting them daily on my Instagram feed. So it's at the moment, it's just a collection of different work from different people from different places that are all kind of dealing with the similar situation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You guys are more than invited to submit something to me, and I would be more than happy to post it and include it in the show.
Oh, you take stories too?
Yeah. Stories are an image of something that you made, and if you want to add like a story with it, then I add the text with the post for the people to read.
Okay. Well, yeah. Throw me the information when we get a chance.
His Instagram is in the chat, but I'll text it to you after.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely reach out individually.
Yeah. Are you selling the work, or you just exposing the work?
I'm still taking work as people submit. I only have about 4 posts left, so I've been a little bit slower about posting. As my submissions got less, I started doing maybe like 1 a week, just to try to keep something going. I'm hoping to still keep receiving more, but this is it's good because I'm connecting different people from different parts of the world through this, which is pretty cool.
Anything else?
Going back to like promoting work, I also run the UIC kind of BFA Instagram page. I kind of wish Spencer was still here. Like they announce like, oh, the BFA show is canceled, at least for like the throughout the UIC kind of campus, like as news wise. But like the BFA, like these days kids, they don't even know if they have a show. Like their show is just like, there's not even a date for them. It's just pretty sad. And like I've also started like this call for art for just like the undergrads, from like alumni to like current students. But for some reason it's just really hard to kind of get people to submit. Like you have to like spam them like, hey, can you please submit, like but like have the ball running, or
running your business.
Gallery.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine, man, like, like a lot of my income I make stuff that I can like easily readily sell also. So I make these dioramas inside eyeglass cases, and I normally try to get into an art fair in the summer times, and you imagine how that's gonna be altered or if not canceled. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of like little ways that I've hustling with my art are canceled. But you know what I find interesting though, that when we get back into this,
we ever get back into this, when we do, it's gonna be a different kind of trust. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a hierarchy that's being torn down. But it's gonna take a trust to get back in there. You know what I mean? You know, like there's an artist circle of people who run stuff, you know, and relating to people again, you know, it's not just we got to relate again through our art. You know, I mean, I lost a really great gig at the Botanic Garden. You know, that was my opportunity to really do something on a grand scale. You know, so I'm thinking to myself, how do I get back there? You know, how do I get back into this museum again? You know, it's be a whole new ball game in a lot of ways, for me anyhow.
Yeah, for everybody.
Yes.
All right.
Well.
Are there any more last comments, questions? No? I'm not forcing anyone. So this is the gallery, 5 Points Art Gallery's last scheduled session. I might do one more pop-up one to feature some of the musicians that have performed in the space. But this is of the visual artists that are featured in the space or have been featured in the space, and the breadth of them that have been in there. And so I thank everyone again for participating, supporting continuously, the artists for participating and telling their stories. So if you have additional question, information you want to purchase something that you've seen, you can email the gallery 5, the number 5 Points Art Gallery, and spelled out, studios@gmail.com. I know it's long. I'll type it in the chat, and I can put you in touch with whomever you need directly. And then you can stay on the lookout for the gallery's expansion of his website. We're in the process of getting the work. So some of the works featured here onto a shopping cart page, existing website, so people can peruse and purchase at their leisure, should this lockdown be extended past these projected.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, thank you all. Nice. Go for it.
I forgot to tell everyone this is being recorded. I usually start with that. So I will submit this out to the artists so they can have it for their records. But I apologize to the viewers who wanted to be more anonymous until you can turn off your screens. But this has been recorded. Forgive me for the oversight. Go ahead, Marvin.
No, it was nice, you know, socializing and sharing. Yeah. You know, for whatever that's worth. Just keep up the spirits, and yeah, let's plan on hanging out and making it happen.
Definitely. Thanks for everyone, and for Fatima for including me, and all the artists. It's really inspiring to listen to how other people are dealing with this, and knowing that outside of, you know, the art world is usually a thing that you share in person, and you get to talk to in person. It's nice to do this during a time that I feel like I've been super introverted. I'm already an introvert, but this is insane.
Marvin, you cannot say you're not introverted.
No, I'm just laughing. I don't know, man, but I think, you know, put me on blast, but I feel like, you know, my daughter is like millennial also, and I don't think you guys that very extroverted. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. You know, I don't know. Call me old school, old head, whatever. But you know, I don't. I mean, I really don't feel that isolated at times, because I have my artwork, and I'm just like, you know, being prolific. You know, and
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think I picked myself, so I'm gonna stop talking. All right.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Take care, stay healthy and safe. And then
Yes.
I typed the information, so feel free to reach out if you need any additional support or services from me, and I can attempt to do whatever I can.
Yeah, Fatima, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Guys, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Ow.